Good evening and welcome. I'm Chris Parnell.
Reporting from Moscow.
Tbilisi.
Times Square.
May your dreams be your only boundaries in life.
Welcome to Let's Talk Money. My name is Harvey Cook and this is my co-host Kelly Bolton. We thank you for tuning in. Today we're honored to have Scott Brockman, who's President and CEO of the Memphis-Shelby County Airport Authority, as our guest. If you've been to the airport lately, you can see the expansive improvements taking place, and we're excited to learn more about the new developments taking place and their impact on Memphis. So without further ado, let's talk money. Scott, thank you for joining us.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thanks
Appreciate
for having me.
Tell us a little bit about your background.
Well, I am, I'd like to say a career airport person, but I actually spent a couple of years working for a public accounting firm before I stumbled into this business. I started about 30 years ago at a small airport in the west coast of Florida, Sarasota, Bradenton. And I have bounced around across the country. Moved to Des Moines, Iowa, to Tucson, Arizona, to the airports in both of those cities, and then was brought to Memphis in 2003. So I've been here about 13 years, and having fun. Love the Mid-South.
Well, good.
We're glad to have you, and we've seen great improvements since you've been here.
Yeah.
Tell us about the Memphis-Shelby County Airport Authority, what it is, how it operates.
Well, the Airport Authority is a governmental entity that operates like a real business. And so we are what's called an independent authority. We have a 7-member board of directors who's appointed. They're nominated, 5 are nominated by the city of Memphis mayor, 2 are nominated by the mayor of Shelby County, and then all 7 have to be confirmed by the city council. Both the city and the county were sponsoring agencies when the Airport Authority Act came into be in 1969, and that's when the airport moved from a city department to an airport authority. So we operate a lot like an independent business.
And where do you get your funding? What is your budget?
Well, in the current fiscal year, our fiscal years are July 1 to June 30th. And all of our funds are generated by our own business activities. So we don't get any tax dollars from real estate taxes or other taxes in either the city or the county. And so we garner our revenues through the business opportunities that we create with our airlines or concessionaires, property leasing. And we have about 5,000 acres that the airport sits on. And so we do the best we can to generate our revenue off of that. And most recent year's budget is about $120 million, so it's a fairly large budget. The Airport Authority has about $1.2 billion worth of assets on its books right now, so it's a very large property and generates quite a bit of income.
Well, let me ask you a question. I think on everyone's mind is security. Matter of fact, right before I left to come here, I took a test at Merrill Lynch about security. What should we do in the case of a disaster if we recognize something that looks out of the ordinary? You know, how for us to react? Well, I know with airports, that's obviously very fresh on everyone's mind. So what are you doing to keep everybody safe here in Memphis?
Well, you know, we work very extensively with the Transportation Security Administration. We also work with Customs and Border Patrol, with the FBI, with other jurisdictions to try to craft processes and procedures that are as much fixed as they are variable in the way we go about observing passengers, the way we go about inspecting things. The Transportation Security Administration, or TSA, is really in charge of passenger security. Once you get through the security checkpoint of the airport, that is the avenue for which you're deemed, appropriate to travel. X-ray machines, body scanners, things like that. We also have, as an airport authority, we have 4 independent, we have our own police force, and we have 4 independent canine units that are specifically trained in trace detection, bomb detection, and things like that. And so they're wandering the terminal at all times, just blending in with the passengers. They are dressed in police uniforms, but so they're actually doing additional survey of passengers and gate checks and things like that. There are certain locations that we actually go on to the airplane. Washington, D.C. is one of them. So in between every flight, we actually inspect the planes to make sure that they are free of any of those prohibited materials. So we work very hard with the jurisdictions we have because that's paramount in what we do. Most recently, the issue in Brussels, Belgium is one of those things that is the newest angle that we have to work towards trying to keep from happening here in the States. So.
I personally thank you for what y'all are doing. I know every time I'm stopped, I always make a point to thank the people that are stopping. If they're doing extra check on my bags, you have a tendency to feel slightly annoyed because you're rushing to get someplace, but I always pause for a moment and think they're doing this to keep us safe. So
it's a natural reaction, and there is a little bit of inconvenience associated with safety. And as long as people realize that, then we'll all be better off. It'll be a much happier environment. So.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Sure. Tell us a little bit about your community involvement with the authority.
Well, the airport authority is actually prides itself on all the things we do in our community. We are very, very big supporters of United Way from the airport authority standpoint. We also have an Adopt a School program. We are in the southeast portion or southwest portion of Memphis, very close to Oak Haven and Orange Mound and in those areas. So we have adopted the Oak Haven schools, and we have golf tournaments, fundraisers, where our employees actually work to raise the money. And we give scholarships to kids that are graduating from the schools that are within our little footprint of the airport.
Really?
And we have employees that actually go over and spend their lunchtime working with kids, tutoring kids. And then every Christmas we have a program our police department started that is a fabulous program where we adopt families and we actually provide them with Christmas. So, we do a lot. It's our community. And so we want to make sure that we're a very positive part of that community.
That's fabulous. Well, I think if more people would realize that how important it is to give back, and I love what you're trying to do just in your immediate area. I think that's fabulous.
Well, and then the one other piece that we do is we do an art program every year with the kids in all of our schools around Shelby County. And we actually give out their scholarships with that. We bring in all the families. We unveil the top 40 pieces of art on May 7th. It's on a Thursday evening, so if anyone wants to come out, it's open to the public. We'd love to have you come out and look at the awesome talent we have in this community.
And so you'll have those pieces of art displayed at the airport?
In the B ticketing lobby up on the mezzanine level, sure.
Right. Scott, we're going to take a short break, and when we return, we'll continue this discussion.
Welcome to Germantown High School, an international baccalaureate creative and performing arts optional school, a destination school for students who are going places.
Our students are of the highest caliber when it comes to their academics and knowledge.
The IB program is a very rigorous program.
You were challenged in a way that you thought you couldn't be challenged. You succeeded, something that other kids may not have thought they could do.
They're accepted to colleges that are just, dream colleges for so many people.
Germantown High School offers a CAPA program, the Creative and Performing Arts program.
When I first came here, I saw the television studio and I was just amazed at what all I saw.
Kids do everything, that they're taught every detail that has to do with theater arts and creative arts.
I love a lot of things about Germantown High School, but primarily what I love is the athletics. There's something exciting around every single corner.
We probably are one of the most diverse high schools in the state of Tennessee, maybe the United States.
I would never doubt about sending your child to Germantown High School.
This high school is something not like any other high school that we have.
There's definitely fun in the work. We find fun in everything we do.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Money. If you're just tuning in, I'm Kelly Bolton and this is my co-host Harvey Cook. Today we've been talking with Scott Brockman, who's President and CEO of the Memphis-Shelby County Airport Authority, and we're learning about the many developments taking place at the airport. Scott, thank you for what you're doing for our community. I know we were talking about that just before we took a break. So you're doing a lot financially to give back. I think a question that would come to mind is you talk about all these things that you're doing and have your own Air Force and canine units and that sort of thing. Or how financially sound are y'all?
The Airport Authority is tremendously sound financially. Really? It's we have, in spite of some of the challenges that we have from a standpoint of air service with the reduction of some of Delta service in the hub, the closure of the passenger transfer hub, we have maintained our core finances and very stable and still are able to continue to develop the airport in a positive way going forward. And so that's not a concern that anyone should have about whether the Airport Authority is going to be able to sustain and stay a vital part of this community. The nature of our agreements with our airline partners make us that way. And in spite of some of the challenges we've had on the passenger side, we do have the world's largest air cargo partner across the airfield in Federal Express. And so they're very important and a very wonderful partner of ours. So things are going very well.
That's great.
And how about the airport's impact on our economy?
You know, the Airport Authority, in the most recent study, which was completed in 2012 by the University of Memphis Department of Economics, the airport generates about $23.3 billion a year in economic impact. We are responsible, directly or indirectly, for about 1 in every 4 jobs in this community. And so, so when you look at the reach that occurs between all of the entities, all of the businesses that it takes to support not only passenger air service but also cargo, it's a very large impact, and we're very proud of the role that we have in the community.
Well, let's talk a little bit about cargo activity. We talked about FedEx. How are y'all tied to FedEx and your cargo activity? How does this all work?
Well, we have a campus of about 5,000 acres. FedEx leases almost 1,000 of those acres on the north side of the airfield. And they are actually on airport property for the most part. There are parcels that they lease that are outside of the airfield, but they're still airport property. And all of those functions that are related to air cargo are located on the airport. They have transfer operations in other places in the city, and those are operated out of there. So anything that's going to get on a plane or come off a plane comes through the Memphis airport. Roughly close to 4.6 billion tons of cargo pass through that airport every year. We're the #2 cargo airport in the world. We're #1 in the United States. And one of the things that, because of the size of FedEx, we are the world's busiest airport between 10 p.m. and 5 a.m. because that is their core business in order for it to be there just in time and by tomorrow. So it doesn't matter where you are in the world, overnight still remains overnight when you're shipping something. So, so we work very hard at helping them continue to grow and be a good partner in this community.
Right. Well, I know everyone's been upset about Delta leaving, the cuts in flights, and I'd like to focus for just a minute on, it seems that y'all are doing a great job in adding flights. We've got a recent flight, I saw one of the airlines to Destin, Florida, where a lot of people travel. So I'm seeing all the good stuff, all the new airlines that are adding flights. What are we doing about all this?
Well, it was a very a shock to the system, if you will, for the local traveler to all of a sudden, over about a 4-year period, go from 91 nonstop destinations, driven mainly by the Delta transfer hub. We're now down to, I think, 34. We hit a low of the mid-20s for nonstop destinations, and you're right, we have been adding flights. We had 12 air service announcements in 2015. We've had 4 so far this year, and the most recent announcement was Allegiant Airlines flying to Destin, Florida, and also flying to Los Angeles starting in the next month or so. So we have done a great job. I think we've hired an air service research and development person who has done a great job. We hired him away from American Airlines. When you want, someone to look at that part of the business, you hire somebody from that part of the business, and so it was a very wonderful addition to our staff. We have a unique situation in Memphis where we have a demand that was not being served. Once the hub closed, we have, like you were saying, that you look specifically for efficiency in travel. Well, everyone does that, and we look at the same thing when we approach developing air service. And are we there yet? No, we still have work to do. We still have air service to bring to this community. That's our job. And we are well on our way to continuing to fill those voids. But it is a very tough business to do that in. Airlines, their aircraft cost hundreds of millions of dollars. So for them to put those into your city, you have to have a demonstrated yield that they think they can make. They have to be able to put people in seats on a regular basis.
Well, I've told Harvey about this, and I was mentioning to you during our break that I found the place on the website where you can go and find every nonstop flight out of Memphis, which I think is really great.
That is new. We have our new flymemphis.com, and that website was rolled out about a year ago. We have tried to evolve not only from a standpoint of air service development, but also to our customer service delivery, and that website is just one of those things. And if you go to that site at flymemphis.com, you can go into the plan a flight selector, and it will show you, based upon your destination you pick and the dates, what airlines fly there, and then you can make an educated choice as to how you want. One of the evolutions that we have with the change from being a transfer hub to an origin and destination airport is we have carriers that don't subscribe to booking agents, to booking entities like Priceline or Travelocity or any of those. Allegiant, Southwest Airlines, Frontier Airlines, they only book tickets on their own site. That's why they're low cost.
I was telling him that because a lot of people have tried to use those sites and they didn't realize.
And you have to go directly to their site in order to book a ticket. Our help with that is the website where it will tell you who flies and when they fly, but you have to go to their site to get a price, which is not a big inconvenience.
Thank you so much. We're going to have to take a quick break, and when we return, we'll finish our discussion with Mr. Scott Brockman, so please stay tuned.
Hey, check it out.
When it gets cold, feels like the end. There's no place to go, I won't give in. No, I won't give in. Keep holding on, 'cause we'll make it through, we'll make it.
A little voice came on the phone and said, Daddy, when you come home. He said the first thing that came to his mind,
I'm already there.
I'm already there. Take a look around. Oh, I'm already there.
Being there. Pass it on.
Thank you for joining us on Let's Talk Money. Today we've been honored to have with us Scott Brockman, President and CEO of the Memphis-Shelby County Airport Authority, as he shares about the direction, improvement, and vision for the Memphis Airport. Scott, thanks again for joining us. I hear people talking in the community, people talk about economic development, how the fact that we've lost Delta as a hub, how it's hurt our ability to attract businesses. I don't know if that's true or not, but I'd love to hear you talk about that.
Well, you know, I mean, I do think air service has some link to business recruitment, and clearly we work along with the staff of the Memphis Chamber, Greater Memphis Chamber. We also work with the Convention and Visitors Bureau and very close with the presidents of each of those organizations. You know, I think that sometimes the airport can be accused as, you know, falsely as being the driving force to that. It's one element in that. You know, I think that, yes, there are companies that need to have efficient ways to get around the country. But you know what? We have service on 4 major carriers that, with fairly decent connect times, you can get anywhere in the world with one stop. And so, you know, is it truly the driving force? I think it's one small piece of the equation. You know, tax base, educated and trained workforce, you know, a lot of issues, crime, things like that are things that companies look at before they relocate. Sometimes we're the easy answer. Well, you know, the reduction in air service, you know, we're going to go somewhere else. And we're going to continue to work on that and partner with the chamber and the, you know, the city, the county, and the CVB. I don't think it's as big a driving factor as sometimes people want to make it.
Good point.
Well, let's talk about the parking garage. I personally just used it, and I was so glad it was there. Now, my fault, I didn't remember where I parked my car, so that was a little challenging trying to find it. But a lot of people are complaining it's blocking the view of the airport. Why do we build this? Because, you know, we don't have as many flights coming and going out of Memphis. So how would you answer that?
Well, the quick answer is, first of all, on your lost car, we have a number of customer service things we provide in all of our parking lots. One of those is a car locator.
So I'm not the only one that's lost their car. I had a great vacation. I come back relaxed and couldn't remember where my car was.
Between 70 and 100 people every month, we help find their cars. And so they call the number, we drive around.
Interesting.
That garage, you know, the number of people that are parking in the garage are really has grown tremendously in the last 4 or 5 years in spite of the reduction in the hub. Every one of those people that we no longer have going through our terminal were transfer passengers. The origin and destination based in this community is actually rising. And so we have more people that need to park than we ever had before. And that's why we built the garage. It was a visionary plan to take and bring on site not only the parking capacity that we needed, but also to bring our rental cars on so you don't have to ride a bus 4 miles to Democrat Road. And it was a part of a master plan. It's tremendously successful. It has done a lot to bolster our ability to do some of these other projects that we're doing with our share of funding coming from our operating revenue. So it's been tremendously popular and just a fabulous facility. And you know, we do have other amenities. We have, if someone has a flat tire or someone's battery is dead when they get back, they call that same number, and we have courtesy people that will come and take care of that for them. So
that's nice.
It's a great customer service that we offer.
Now, what about blocking the view of the beautiful airport?
Well, you can still see the beautiful airport as you come, you know, into the airport off the interstate. You do lose it for about 3 to 5 seconds of that trip when you come around the curve, but when you get there, it's still beautiful. And I have many people tell me that the new terminal with the airfoil and the lights is tremendously beautiful in its own way. And so, you know, we have the best of both worlds. We have the beautiful new garage with the lights that we can change at different times of the year. We have red, white, and blue for 4th of July, pink during Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And then you still have the beautiful, iconic martini glass pillars in front of the terminal, and so you have the best of both worlds is what I tell people.
Well, I think sometimes you just can't win. Like we want direct flights, we want to still see the airport, we want convenience in parking, we want the rental cars there. Personally, I think it looks great, and I used it. Next time, I'm going to call that service. Hopefully, next time I won't lose my car.
Well, and you know, one of the challenges of having a hub is the price of tickets. And Harvey, you and I have talked about this, that you know, when we were a hub transfer airport with Delta or even Northwest, those 91 nonstop destinations come at a price, and that price is higher ticket prices. So the number of people in Memphis that could afford to fly was a much lower number. With the reduction in transfer services and not being a hub anymore, we've got new competition. Carriers you never had before, Allegiant, Frontier, Southwest, have all been around and just joined us in the last 3 years. Ticket prices have gone down. We always were number 1, number 2, number 3 in the country in airfares. Since 2012, we've dropped from number 7th. And in the second quarter of 2015, I'm proud to tell you that we've dropped to 37th in the country in average airfare. So it's been a tremendous benefit in bringing prices down. And that's without some of the new additions that we've had to our flight schedules. Frontier started just in April of this year flying to Atlanta. Delta was the only carrier flying to Atlanta for the last 3 or 4 years. So that will help moderate prices even more. And you know, one of our goals is to get out of the top 50 in airfares, because at that point, we believe we're providing a good value as well as good service. And so, so we're working hard at trying to continue to do that.
Before I ask my next question, let me tell you, I love the new parking facility. I think it's beautiful. I love the music inside.
Oh,
what a great
absolutely.
touch. What a great
Absolutely.
touch.
You know, we have focused on what I call a positively memorable travel experience, and that is where everyone coming to that airport, whether they're picking someone up or flying, that from the minute they enter into the airport until they get on a plane, the plane takes off, I want every interaction in that process to be something that is positively memorable. Our goal is to be the airport of choice for the Mid-South, which means that people will drive from outside the Mid-South to come into our airport because we make a difference in making their trip pleasurable. And so hopefully we can continue to do that.
I hate to cut you off. We have a lot more questions. Maybe you'll come back again next year.
It'll be my pleasure.
I really did want to talk about Tony Allen. Sorry we didn't get to do that. Once again, we want to thank our guest, Scott Brockman, for joining us today. We hope you've enjoyed our discussion, and we look forward to your joining us again next month on Let's Talk Money.